The court said, "You may call your next witness."
Mr. Ferguson said, "The government calls Minran Wu." Minran Wu, called as a witness by the government, having been duly sworn, testified as follows.
The court said, "Please be seated and state your name and spell it, and put the microphone close to your mouth."
The witness said, "My first name is Min. My last name is Wu."
The court said, "And if you would say your name."
The witness said, "My name is Minran Wu."
The court said, "You may inquire."
Direct examination. By Mr. Ferguson.
Good afternoon, Ms. Wu.
Good afternoon.
I'll ask you just if you can try to speak directly into the mic and keep your voice up. And for the court reporter, just try and talk slowly. Okay?
Okay.
What state do you live in?
New Jersey.
What do you do for work?
Right now, just at home.
And what was your last job outside of the home?
Macy's.
Were you ever a follower of MilesSqua?
Yes.
Are you still a follower of MilesSqua?
No.
Looking around the courtroom, do you see MilesSqua here today?
Yes.
Mr. Skirrick said, "We'll stipulate, Your Honor."
The court said, "Very well."
Ms. Wu, you said you live in New Jersey now. Where were you born?
China.
When did you come to the United States?
2001.
Why did you come to the United States?
Follow my husband.
Did there come a time when you became interested in Chinese politics?
Yes.
Could you explain to the jury what caused you to become interested in Chinese politics?
My family history and my mother and father's illness and death.
When your parents were ill and passed away, where were they?
China.
And what about their experience being ill in China caused you to become interested in Chinese politics?
They died from overtreatment. They all died from overtreatment, and the journey just full of cheating. Money and power, so miserable.
Ms. Wu, when did you first learn about MilesSqua?
Around 2018.
And how did you learn about him?
I watch his YouTube video.
And what did you see in that video?
He just stood on the terrace of that 18th floor of the hotel and said something about the CCP. CCP did a lot of bad things. CCP, just kind of evil.
Before watching that video, had you heard of MilesSqua?
No.
You said this video was 2018, right?
I think so.
In that year in 2019, how often, if at all, were you watching WOS videos?
Not that lot about MilesSqua's video. Actually, a lot about Yading Gao's Luna Press. In that program, Luna introduced a lot of things about MilesSqua, and people around him also their activities.
By 2020, how often, if at all, were you watching WOS videos?
2020, around 2020, I think I watched from 2 times a week to every day.
Ms. Wu, what, if anything, did MilesSqua says about his wealth?
He said he was rich, very rich, billionaire.
What, if anything, did he say about his apartment, the one you saw the video in?
He said apartment's so expensive, but you couldn't get into that hotel, that apartment. Just because if you are rich. You also need great social network to introduce you into.
What, if anything, did he say about his clothes?
Clothes? Brownie.
I'm sorry.
The brand is Brownie, a lot of suits from his brand. Also, he said just couture type, not retail type.
What, if anything, did he say about the things he ate?
Something like strawberry. Once he said strawberry $5 or $10 each. Also some seafood from Public Sea. And he said some of them almost it's extinct.
Ms. Wu, are you familiar with the Rule of Law Foundation?
I heard about that. I know it.
What was that?
It should be a foundation established for the new China.
And around when was it established?
I think should be 2029, sorry, 2019.
And who established it to your understanding?
Miles Gov't, and Steve Bannon.
What, if anything, did Miles Wu say about donating his money or his family's money to the rule of law?
He said 100 millions.
Now, Ms. Wu, you said he had talked about how rich he was?
Yes.
Did you believe Miles Wu could donate $100 million to the rule of law?
Yes, at that time, yes.
Did you donate to the rule of law?
Yes.
About how many times and how much in total?
I think should be 6 times, total should be $1,200.
If Miles Wu had not donated $100 million to the rule of law, would that have been important to you?
Mr. Skirek said, objection.
The court said, overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
Why?
He lied.
Ms. Wu, did there come a time when you tried to purchase GTV shares?
I invested in VOG.
And approximately when was that?
May 2020.
Approximately how much did you invest through VOG?
14,000.
And where did you send your $14,000?
VOG, Sarah's account.
Did you send it in one transfer or more than one?
More than one.
Why did you send it in more than one?
I tried to send just in one transfer, but the bank just denied it.
Were you told why the bank was rejecting your transfer?
I did it online, so I didn't get any information about the deny.
Ms. Wu, do you recall what the name on the account was that you used to send the $14,000 to VOG?
Mr. Skirek said, objection, her account or the destination account.
Your account, the account you used?
I used several ones, my own name, joint account, and one of my company's account.
What was the name of that company?
Wonder Invest, LLC.
What is Wonder Invest, LLC, Ms. Wu?
Actually I have this bank account a long time. My husband created it very long time ago. Later, he just gave this to me to play.
Ms. Wu, why did you send the money to VOG bank accounts?
For GTV stock.
And why did you think you would get GTV stock by sending this money to VOG?
Miles Wu said so. He said if you have money over $100,000, then just go to him. If you have less money, just go to Sarah.
Why did you want to get shares of GTV?
Miles Wu said that GTV should be the foundation of the new China later. You cannot imagine how great it will be, how profitable it will be.
What, if anything, did Miles Wu say about GTV investor profits?
He said that many times, every time the number would be higher than the previous one. I just remember first maybe 17 times, and then I remember 100 times, then I didn't pay attention.
At the time, did you believe your investment would be very profitable?
I think maybe 10 times possible. I think maybe 100 times a little not that feasible.
What, if anything, did Miles Wu say about the value of GTV?
I remember 20 billion.
Ms. Wu, what, if anything, did Miles Wu say about private placements?
He said this private placement would be the only chance for us common people to have in our life. He did a lot to get this chance for us.
Had you participated in private placements before?
No.
And, Ms. Wu, what, if any, personal guarantee did Gu make about the GTV investment?
Can you repeat?
What, if any, guarantees did Miles Gu make about the GTV investment?
He said he guarantee all our principals.
And you said he talked about how rich he was. Did you believe him when he said that?
At that time, yes.
Ms. Wu, what, if anything, did Miles Gu say about sending GTV investor funds to a hedge fund?
I never heard about that.
Have you ever invested in a hedge fund yourself?
No.
If you had known that Miles Gu was sending GTV investor funds to a hedge fund, would you have invested?
Mr. Skirek said, objection.
The court said, overruled. You may answer.
No.
Ms. Wu, did you ultimately get a refund of your GTV investment?
I got some refund from SEC.
Did you get 100% or less than 100% refund?
Around 92%.
Did Miles Wu pay back the missing 8%?
No.
Ms. Wu, were you a member of a farm?
Once, yes.
And actually, Ms. Wu, just one moment first. To go back to the SEC refund. What's your understanding of why you got money back from the SEC?
This investment is illegal. So it was under the supervision of the SEC. The SEC just refunded all investors.
And when did you receive your refund back?
2023, I don't remember the month.
Ms. Wu, in order to get that refund from the SEC, what, if anything, did you have to do?
The SEC sent email to me and just said something about the refund and fair fund they set up for this refund process. I needed to fill the form, to give them my wire transfer statements, also agreement about the VOG. Then submit the form. I think just this. I don't remember others.
Ms. Wu, now you said you were a member of a farm, right?
Was.
You were. Which farm were you a member of?
MOS.
MOS. What does MOS stand for?
Mountain of Spice.
And when did you join Mountains of Spice or MOS?
June or July 2020.
Where was MOS based?
NYC.
Who led the MOS farm?
At that time, Xiaqidong.
And for the court reporter's benefit, could you spell that, Ms. Wu?
XIAQIDONG.
What other names, if any, did Xiaqidong go by?
Chongdao or Chongdao Wengue.
Who did that mean?
Chongdao means Long Island. Wengue means great brother.
Ms. Wu, what's your understanding of how Chongdao became the leader of the MOS farm?
Miles Gwt chose him.
And how do you know that?
He said so.
When you say he, who said that?
Miles Gwt.
And where did he say that?
In his video.
To your understanding, who chose all the farm leaders?
Miles Gwt.
Who did you understand to give them instructions?
Miles Gwt.
Now, Ms. Wu, what, if any, volunteer work did you do for the MOS farm?
Translation.
What was the farm loan program?
We members lend money to the farm to get the GTV stock.
Why did you understand that lending money to the farm would get you GTV stock?
He said so.
When you say he said so, who are you talking about?
Miles Gwt.
What, if anything, did Miles Wu say about why you had to use loans instead of just investing in GTV?
He said for that GTV private placement already ended. So he created another chance for us to invest in this GTV stock. He called a step to equity.
The court said, "One moment."
Pause.
The court said, "We're going to have to stop at this point. You can step out but do not discuss your testimony. You'll return tomorrow. 9:29 you'll be in the chair."
Witness temporarily excused.
The court said, "Members of the jury, earlier I asked you whether next week on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday you could come between 9:30 and 5. With an understanding that there's a lunch break between 1 and 2 in order that we not have to prolong the trial. Is there anybody who cannot do that?"
Juror said, "We have a request if that's okay."
The court said yes. Okay.
Juror said, "Instead of having one 1-hour lunch for a number of reasons, we're asking if we can break it up until 2 half-hour, one at 11:30 and one at 2 o'clock."
The court said we can have 2 breaks. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it exactly when you mentioned it, but I will space it out.
Juror said, "Some of us can't be here seated for that long."
The court said, "Understood. Alrighty then. That brings our work to a close. Remember that you're not allowed to discuss the case amongst yourselves or with anyone else. Don't permit anyone to discuss the case in your presence. Don't listen to, watch, or read anything from any source about anything having to do with the subject matter of this trial. Have a good evening."
The law clerk said, "Jury exiting."
Jury not present.
The court said, "Is there anything before we close?"
Ms. Murray said, nothing from the government. Thank you.
Mr. Skirik said, not from the defense, Your Honor.
The court said, have a good evening. Thank you.
Adjourned to June 13, 2024, at 9 a.m.